Hey everyone, Brian Fonvier here, back at it again with another set of D&D stories. Today, we've got another fun set, D&D Players, what was your best, wait, what moment? Part 2. I am currently running the Dragon of Icespire Peak for a group of 4. There's Ren, a tiefling bard, Kazdan, a dragonborn paladin, Nuck, a turtle cleric, and Toa, a warforged spell sword. They are currently in the crypts of Dragon Barrow, and just fought an invisible stalker and found a bunch of sarcophagi. Toa proceeds to open all of them. He finds the first magic item, which was a +1 rhythm maker's drum buried with a deceased bard. He looks at Ren, picks up the drum, and says,
"Stay back! Don't touch this! It could be cursed!"
Everyone looks at each other confused. Ren says,
"If it was cursed, wouldn't you be the one who got it, since you were the first to touch it?"
The whole table erupts into laughter. It was not cursed, but I'm the only one who knows that. A few minutes later, Toa pushes open the last sarcophagus and reveals the remains of a cleric with a fairly well-kept emblem setting atop its rusted, blood-covered shield. He looks over to Ren and says,
"I'm going to pull a page out of Ren's book and try to take the skull off the body."
The table looked horrified at Ren. Ren says,
"When have I ever done something like that?"
He in fact has never done anything like this. Kazdan pipes up,
"What are you going to do? Pick it up with its mouth?"
Turns out Toa thought the emblem was around its neck. TLDR, party explores a crypt, party finds sarcophagi. Warforged may or may not be cursed for touching a random drum in one of said sarcophagi, then warns the party not to touch it because it might be cursed. He then removes the head of a dead cleric and horrified the whole party, me included. His reasoning was he was taking a page from the bard who has never done such a thing. DMing the third session of my first 5th edition campaign. My 3 players and 2 NPCs were in a large rowing boat lazily drifting down a jungle river. To their left, a gnoll atop a small castle turret lit an arrow using a nearby torch and took a shot at party. The gnoll missed his attack and the arrow hit the water with a violent fizzle as the fire was extinguished. The party leader, a tiefling warlock, was next in initiative order.
"I light my crossbow on fire."
You managed to start a small fire with your flint and some of the chest hair you took, another story for another day, and set the tip of a crossbow bolt alight.
"No, I light my crossbow on fire and throw it at Ollie."
Wait, what?
Ollie was an NPC met the session prior. She had mistrusted him from the start, and his reluctance to help in combat irked her greatly, and apparently enough to risk it all for a brief chance at payback. My player decided to eat the floor of the restaurant they were in. So what had happened was the party was inside a pocket dimension that held a city of abjuration wizards. They were waiting to see the Emperor's son perform in Times Square, and out of the options I gave them, they opted to get food. My friend Ryan decided the food was so bad that he'd eat the floor. I had him roll Constitution to see if he'd, die. Nat 20. With that, we had the brilliant idea to say that his character had a curse that made it so he had a black hole in his stomach that slowly got bigger the more he ate. We also had an NPC in the party that was a goblin named Barry that all the players loved, excluding Ryan. I didn't let him kiss the goblin and he resorted to the "if I can't have you, no one can" mindset. A bit happens and they manage to get into the castle to speak with the Emperor. At some point in time, Ryan decided to eat Barry and succeeded. TLDR, they had to go on a side quest in Ryan's character's void stomach to get Barry back, and when they went inside, it was an eldritch cityscape with Victorian architecture, and since it was Ryan's character's body, he was God. But he could figure out the powers, so he just kinda appeared and disappeared. One of my players had secretly multiclassed into Warlock. He picked up an abyssal dagger that promised him power. He carried it with him, later merging it with his sword and gaining magical abilities. Neither of the other players had any idea, and through a lot of clever twisting of words and good rolls on his part, kept it quiet. Cut to the party investigating a site of drow and demon activity. As the 2 other party members stepped into what appeared to be a summoning room, the door slammed shut, trapping them inside with the warlock outside. Unknown to the players, I had purchased a voice modulator and had chosen my patron voice. With a close fight between the trapped 2 players and a demon that had been portaled into the room coming to a climax, I chose my moment. Switching on my voice changer, I said,
"Your companions are stronger than I gave them credit for. You have chosen well, my champion."
Cue an absolute stunned silence from the whole party, followed by a lot of in-game questioning of the Warlock. 2 moments from the same campaign I was in. First was when our group arrived at a keep that was being sieged by some old allies turned enemies of our tiefling Paladin. After sneaking into the keep and learning the situation from the orcs within the keep, our party met with the sieging group by the keep entrance. Their leader, a minotaur who clearly looked to have taken a deal with a dark power, was challenging our group to a one-on-one combat. Our tiefling Paladin took up this challenge. Using special abilities, his unique magic item, we all got one for this campaign, each of which evolved after certain key events took place, he was able to get triple advantage on attacks, somehow actually defeating this demonic minotaur and winning the combat for the orcs, whom we later convinced to join us as allies for an upcoming battle our party was preparing for. The second moment was when our party was finally able to track down a member of the big bad evil guy's group we had been searching for, especially after hearing that he had a magic sword that would be helpful in the fight ahead. We were able to track him down along with the possesses and mind-controlled parents of our cleric. We were able to disarm the villain, and our paladin, same paladin from the last story, was able to retrieve the sword. However, it appeared that the sword was cursed. Failing a wisdom save, our paladin ended up driving the sword through our cleric's father, killing him and dooming his soul to torment. On the bright side though, we were able to save the mother and defeat the member of the big bad evil guy's group. Still, our cleric was quite traumatized after the events that took place. This one is from my Monday/Thursday group. It is fairly recent. The party finds who is supposed to be our Leonin paladin Cole's father. That in and of itself was a wait, what? But what happened next was even more wait, what? Cole, being wary of what is supposed to be a celestial Leonin version of his father, wants him to grip onto his special sword, a dragon killer sword. My half-elf sorcerer, Pendragon, and the changeling rogue, Echo, noticed something off. Echo heard an incantation. Pendragon felt magical energies. They put 2 and 2 together and realized something isn't right, and voiced this to Cole. Cole encourages the celestial Leonin again, only for him to refuse. So Cole slashes at him with the sword, breaking the illusion and revealing that the so-called celestial Leonin was actually an imperial dragon and an ancient dragon god. We were playing a normal group of humans D&D, but entering a cursed full of mist forest on the middle of the night and finding a big creepy abandoned looking mansion that the entrance had a plank with the text, "Speak and be forgotten from this life." So everyone kept silence for the entire adventure. An old butler came out of the house and asked us if we want to come in. One friend talked and his soul came out of his body. The butler then swallows his soul and asks us to enter. Then guide us at the dining hall. We sit, and after a few moments some plates with bread appeared and me and another friend started to eat the bread. Then a magical old bald white-skinned lord appeared on the end of the table and speak to us. He suddenly screamed at us that we're eating the bread before the dinner came in. I decided to try a lucky shot that makes the lord smell the bread and convince him that it was way too good to ignore it and eat it. I get a nat 20 and the GM says, "Wait, what?" After a seconds of silence, he grabs a piece of bread and eat it. After clearing his throat, he says to his butler, "Give my appreciation to the chef's skill." Wait, what? As a follow-up to Martin and Shaper's shenanigans, more stupid stuff happened. Literally immediately after Martin got arrested, we finally had our first combat encounter of the campaign and already down one PC since Martin got whisked away. We were fighting some imps who are super fragile but deal loads of damage. All PCs rolled terribly on initiative. Our tankiest PC, Ren the Fighter, died in one hit. If she was at full, then she would have lived, but because of Martin's body slam from earlier, she was at half. Then the next imp crit Shaper, instantly knocking him down. At this point, everyone is panicking because it looks like we might have a TPK on the first ever combat encounter. Luckily, our druid Aquamarine, who wasn't really relevant up to this point, spent her turn healing Shaper. On the next round of combat, Shaper was able to take out 2 in one round since he killed 2 with his rapier, one as his normal attack and another as a reaction for an attack of opportunity. Needless to say, nearly having a TPK on the campaign's first combat encounter was a WTF moment. Kemi. Just Kemi. In a Pathfinder game I played a while back, in one town we visited, we met a weird and very creepy shopkeeper named Kemi. We still did business with him and then move on to the port town. There, we were bargaining for potential passage on a ship, we heard a commotion outside. We went to see what was happening and learned that a dragon had just swooped in and attacked the town. Then we heard that creepy laugh and turned to see Kemi. It turns out the dragon stole his shop, as in, it stole the entire shop. One quest across the land later arrived at the dragon's lair. The entrance was locked, but there was a large flat stone with the word "Unwelcome" written on it in Draconic. We moved the stone aside and found the key. A mix of fight and talking our way past the dragon's kobold servants later, we found the dragon itself. After defeating it, we search its hoard and among the other random junk as Kemi's shop, with Kemi himself stepping out the door. I still don't know what exactly Kemi was, but he was most definitely not what he appeared to be. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here. If you liked the video today, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell to get notified when we post and go live, and hey, leave a comment too, we always like to read them. Now if you got a story you'd like us to read in a video or on stream, make sure to go over on our subreddit and post it there, r/MrRipper. Also be sure to follow us on Twitch and Twitter alike. Using a help action, please come by my YouTube channel Brian Von VA where I stream games and make voice acting videos. As always, I try to end the video on a positive note. In the comments below, I'd like to hear about something that you've done this week that was really, really cool. I don't care if it was something like you passed a test that you didn't think you were going to pass, or you went to work on time for the first time in weeks. It doesn't even matter if you even say, I got out of bed for the first time today and felt happy. I want to know about something that you've done cool and something that you really, really are happy about that you'd like to share with everybody else. Because that kind of thing needs to be acknowledged. We need to acknowledge the positive so we can forget about the negative, or at least push it back to the back burner for a while, you know what I mean? None of you are alone, you're all good enough, I love each and every one of you, so please say hi in the comments and tell us what's been going on. All the love out there, we will see you next time, bye for now.